The life of a filmmaker or actor is seemingly glorious and fun, or at least that is how it seems to most of us. However, many terrifying things can happen behind the scenes of a movie set. Here we look at 5 of the most infamous cases concerning movie set mysteries. Return to Babylon. This was a 75-minute film that never actually aired despite a significant sum of money being invested into it. Originally directed by Alex Kanawati, a director who did some strange things in his movies, such as using random footage from unknown films. But in Return to Babylon, he got a little more than he expected. The idea originated when Kanawati found a box full of 32mm films in a Hollywood Boulevard alleyway. When he played them back, they appeared to be scenes shot many decades ago, but the content inspired him to do a movie about the excesses that went on in Hollywood during the 1920s. Kanawati managed to hire leading film stars of the time, such as Maria Conchita Alonso, Jennifer Tilly, and Debbie Mazza. He then decided to incorporate the old black and white film scenes he had found in the alley and mix them with the Return to Babylon footage. However, during filming, several of the cast members reported feeling otherworldly, oppressive entities lurking around, with crew members reportedly being grabbed by unseen hands. These strange occurrences then started to manifest in the editing room, when mysterious figures appeared on the negatives, and in many scenes the faces of the actors took a monstrous turn. Out of nowhere they started to adopt the facial features of demons rather than people, all of them showing terrifying expressions. A photography company asked the director to hand over the negatives of the film to verify if there were any alterations. Kanawati agreed. What they found was shocking. There was no evidence of tampering. There is still no definitive explanation of what appeared on this film. Chaplin's Time Traveller. 1928 was the year when the famous Chaplin movie known as The Circus was first released, but what caused fascination regarding this film is a particular scene where a passerby can be seen apparently talking on a cell phone. The lady in question was not an actress. The scene was filmed on the streets, so it can be catalogued as a totally random event. The mystery is that the mobile phone hadn't been invented until 1928. If you look closely, it doesn't even look like one of those old military phones, which were some of the first wireless phone prototypes, but a totally modern device. It has also been suggested that it may be a smartphone. This particular scene has been examined many times, and no alterations have been found. The anomaly was discovered by a film enthusiast a couple of years ago, and to date it is considered one of the biggest mysteries regarding filmmaking and time travel. The Wizard of Oz. There is a very dark secret behind The Wizard of Oz. We are talking about an extremely obscure incident that could easily take the innocence away from the fantastic film. In order to understand what this scandal is about, it is necessary to understand the working conditions during the 1930s, which was the time when this film was made. During that time there were far fewer labour rights than there are today, and some employees were treated more like slaves than workers. Of course, Hollywood was no exception. Actors during that era were seen in a bad light, as it was considered a low job. It was not glamorous like the film industry we have today, but quite the opposite. Now, let's try to imagine how badly treated and badly paid a secondary actor was. This is necessary to understand what possibly happened during the making of The Wizard of Oz. The secondary actor in question was a dwarf who was going through a deep depression because he wasn't getting paid according to his contract. In an act of desperation and rage, he decided to hang himself on the movie set in the middle of a filming session. In one of the final scenes from the original Wizard of Oz tape, one can clearly see from far away the shadow of a person hanging behind the scenery. Some people claim that this scene has been altered, while others claim it is 100% legit. There is still a lot of speculation surrounding this tragic event, and why the movie makers tried to distance themselves from the death of this poor man. The Curse of Poltergeist. Many rumours have surrounded this film. At one time it was said that all the main actors died shortly after the film was finished. Although this is not completely true, there is some truth in it. Heather O'Rourke, a child actor who was the main character in this film, didn't die immediately after the film was made, but she did pass away shortly after at the age of just 12 due to a cardiopulmonary disease. On the other hand, Julian Beck, who starred as the main villain in Poltergeist 2, had been diagnosed with cancer a few years before accepting the role in this film, although his cancer was considered to be stable and under control. So when he died suddenly a few weeks after filming ended, it was suggested that the movie contributed to his unexpected death. Will Sampson, who also starred in the second film, died due to a heart disease. Dominique Dunne also died shortly after the film was made. She was murdered by her boyfriend who strangled her. This was shocking news since her boyfriend was known to be a good, warm and tender guy. All of these actors had their last role in Poltergeist. Some say this curse originated from the fact that real human bones were used during the filming, rather than fake ones. This was partly due to the fact that the production wanted to portray as much realism as possible, and partly due to them being so economical. The irony of the Poltergeist film curse resides in the fact that the movie is about spirits getting enraged because their resting place have been desecrated. The Death of Atuk. Atuk cannot really be regarded as a movie, since it was never finished. It was supposed to be about an Inuit who decides to visit New York. Everything, in theory, was perfectly arranged for the movie to be made. So what happened? Well, sadly, every single actor that was hired to play the main character unexpectedly died. The first one was John Belushi. He had already signed the contract, but before filming started, he passed away due to a drug overdose. Shortly after, Sam Kinison was hired for the role, but just a few days later he was killed in a car accident. After these two tragedies, the project was halted for a few years. However, the producers were keen to try again and decided to hire legendary actor John Candy. Just a few days later, Candy collapsed and died of a heart attack. Traumatized by these tragic events, the producers decided to cancel the film altogether, but another producer decided to buy the rights to the film and hired Chris Farley as the main actor. Sadly, the Saturday Night Star died shortly after from a drug overdose. This was the final straw, and the movie was then ultimately cancelled forever, and most of the people involved refused to speak about it. So, that was 5 extremely dark movie set mysteries. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with my weekly videos. Also, don't forget to keep in touch on all my social media sites. See you next time.